And even the changes that we're going through on the planet, economic changes, the planet has tolerated our behavior long enough. It tolerated it for as long as it could. It gave us the opportunity to get our act together and start looking after the planet. We haven't done that, and the planet is going through its own changes to get rid of the parasites on its surface. Even that, it is what it is. It's a process, and I do believe some people may be pessimistic about the future. That's their reality, but in my reality, I see a future for the human race. I see us getting it together and stepping up to be part of a galactic community. Now, we may need to go through a lot of chaos before we can get to that level. Now, I started speaking about, power, greed, the elite, that kind of thing. And I heard someone say, you have to love it all. You have to love everything. There isn't anything that isn't God. God's become like a word that people, when they hear the word God, straight away they think of religion and control. And if the word God doesn't work for you, the creator, whatever it was that created everything, it created it perfectly. There is nothing wrong. It is what it is. I spent a long time being angry at the world, angry at the suffering. Now, I could continue down that path. I could continue down that path saying, oh, God's a load of rubbish and there is no God and this whole thing just happened by chance. Maybe that works for you. It works for some of my friends. I love them all the same. My dad, he's a complete atheist. I love my dad just the same, and I don't try to force my view upon him. But when I discovered that the body dies, the soul lives on, whatever suffering you go through will pass. That's a saying that has been engraved on rings, and it says, this too shall pass. And that's what enabled people to go through great suffering. That's what enabled them to transcend their suffering and actually go in to the pain and surrender to it, because they knew that they were going to go to someplace else where there would be no pain. So everybody that has suffered has a reality beyond that suffering. So you have to love it all, even the elite. There's a great teaching, forgive them for they know not what they do. What they do out of ignorance because they don't know any better, and they are compelled to do these things. And the reason why I'm not compelled to murder and do those bad things is because I've already done that on previous lifetimes. I've been the murderer and the murdered, and it no longer serves me on my spiritual, infinite journey that has no beginning or end. It doesn't serve me to carry out that drama because it's owned into wisdom now. And one of the main reasons why the elite have the control that they do is, for the most part, we don't get involved. Humanity is only too eager to be led and to give over power to somebody else, to hand somebody else that responsibility, rather than taking that responsibility for ourselves. So my journey is to become a sovereign being, where I am self-sufficient, I can feed myself and grow my own food and not be dependent on a government to keep me as a pet. Now, I wanted to talk about positive and negative, and this story puts that across in a real good way. If you're a candle surrounded by light, you don't know that you're light. You can't experience what you are because you're surrounded by what you are. It's not until you're taken into the darkness that you can experience for the first time that you're light, because you're now in the presence of that which you are not. Without that which you are not, that which you are is not. And when I heard that, and with that realization of, yin and yang, and you can't have the positive without the negative, because the positive wouldn't be what it is without the negative, that helped my anger a lot. And I intend to experience my light and to truly know that I am light, and to be the best person that I can be, so that I can reflect back to other people what they truly are and what I know them to truly be light, as I am light.